US Army has a problem. Not enough people want to join the US military. According to The Economist, the Army has missed its recruiting goals by almost 1/3 as of last year. Usually when the economy is doing badly and people don't have any more options, they tend to turn to the Army and recruitment goes up. But the US Army has had its worst year of recruitment since the removal of the mandatory draft in 1973. Where is the Army turning to get its new recruits? Gaming. Today, we're going to talk about the Army's attempts to get gamers into a real war, their shady practices to recruit these young kids, and how it's gone hilariously bad. Before we begin today's video, I want to share some really exciting news. When I started League of Documentary about a year and a half ago, I was told constantly by people that, gamers have no attention spans and there's no way that they would want to sit through a bunch of documentaries about gaming. And now League of Documentary is arguably one of the most popular series in the entire League community. So thank you guys so much for your support. And it's thanks to your guys' support that I am now the first League of Legends content creator to receive a Brilliant sponsorship. Brilliant is just an awesome website, and I love them to death. They're basically a STEM learning program. If you want to learn about science, technology, engineering, and maths, then Brilliant is perfect for you to help you along that journey. Brilliant provides interactive courses that helps you with the introductory ideas and even difficult ideas of STEM. Whether you're just starting algebra or learning about human biology, Brilliant has fun, interactive courses that keep you engaged and entertained while you're learning. I know all of my viewers are 200 IQ, Korean Super Server, Chinese ELO boosters, so Brilliant is perfect for you guys. You guys will just smash through that thing. To try everything that Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/DaHuaPan or click on the link in the description. The first 200 people to sign up will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription service. But first, let's talk about why the Army would want gamers of all people. I'm a gamer, and to be honest, most gamers wouldn't really make good Army recruits. I mean, why would you want someone like me who's just looking to do things exactly as easy and quickly as possible? Twitch viewers would probably sabotage the military just for some Twitter impressions. That doesn't sound like a very promising soldier for the US military. Gamers complain all the time that it takes their characters a long time to be able to run in-game. You think they want to be able to run in real life? The reason that the military is in such bad shape right now is because the people that have historically wanted to join the military are no longer eligible to do so. According to a study by the Pentagon, only 23% of Americans are now eligible to serve. Whether it's for health reasons or poor grades, the pool of eligible candidates to be able to be in the US military is not very big to begin with. And the biggest problem is the people themselves. They are literally too fat to serve. Nationally, nearly 42% of all Americans are obese as of 2022. This is due to a variety of social and economical factors, but the biggest one right now is the fact that cheap and easy to access sugary, low-quality foods are abundant in America. People who tend to join the military are people who don't have a lot of options in their life. They tend to be really poor. The military knows this, which is why they've always targeted low-income and minority schools. You would think that families without a lot of money would tend to be very thin and eligible for the Army because, well, they don't have a lot of money to buy food. But that's not true at all. Poor Americans actually tend to be some of the fattest Americans. In America, unhealthy processed foods tend to be a lot cheaper when it comes to filling you up by calories. This is because the US government subsidizes things like corn, soybeans, dairy, and meat. Processed corn is in just about every single processed food you buy. It's a really good substitute for sugar, which is why it drives the price down so much. As a Canadian who's lived in America, I was shocked when I first saw the prices of meat in America and how ridiculously cheap it is to stay big. This is a website that calculates the most efficient way to stay fed in America. Here it is sorted by calories per dollar. Aside from the obviously cheap grain options like flour, rice, and oats, if you look at the cheapest options for pure calories, most of them are junk foods like Cheez-Its, chocolate frostings, Pop-Tarts, and Hershey's Kisses. Sugar is so ridiculously cheap in America that it's almost free, and it is the easiest way to get fat. Americans aren't fat by accident. It's a system that makes it easier and more economically efficient to be fat. Guess what group of Americans have the lowest rates of obesity? That would be rich ones. But if you're from a rich family, you don't need to go to the military. You can get a good job or university or whatever you want. You don't even have to work. Parents can afford to send you to school without having to worry about you getting shot in Afghanistan. You'll be going to a regular university where you're only going to worry about getting shot by one of your other fellow classmates. But there are actually people that want to be in the military. Kids of military families tend to be the ones that are most likely to want to serve in the military. You follow in your father's footsteps. But the Army pays people so little that most veterans struggle financially. America talks a big game about how important their veterans are, whether it's bringing them out into basketball courts or telling them that they're heroes, support the troops, etc., etc. But the one thing they don't seem to be supporting them on is a fair wage. The median income of a full working time veteran is about the same as a McDonald's manager. Veterans between the ages of 18 and 30 are twice as likely as adults in the general population to be homeless. So the only people who want to be in the military are kids that come from poor economical situations that don't have good enough nutrition to be able to actually qualify in the military. Gamers, on the other hand, are somehow much more healthier compared to normal people. A study done by the Queensland University of Toronto found that 21% of gamers are actually in better shape than the general population. There's not really a study done on why gamers are healthier, but my personal theory is that gamers are too busy gaming and not eating, basically. You can't really get obese if you're gaming instead of eating. I mean, look at the pro players we have. Stick thin. These guys are millionaires and they look like they're about to starve to death. Speaking from personal experience, there's also a pretty big segment of people in the gaming community that are just outcasts. They don't feel like they belong in regular society. They don't have a community to say that they're a part of, and the military has tried to feel welcoming. They're trying to feel like a place that you want to belong in. Remember those hard-ass drill sergeants that would yell at you in your face if you were breathing out of regulation? Well, that's gone. This is the new 2020 model of Army training.
We're gonna win everything the whole cycle. You still stay humble, all right?
Sergeants aren't cussing at soldiers anymore. If you got to use that language to get somebody to do something, you are not relevant in our Army anymore.
According to a Gallup poll, veterans of all ages tend to lean towards Republican. And you know what makes Republicans more pissed off than anything else? Wokeness. Honestly, I'm not even sure what the hell that word even means anymore because it's been so over-politicized and overused that I don't even know what the fuck it counts as woke anymore. But I'm pretty sure that this definitely counts as woke.
It begins in California, with a little girl raised by two moms. Although I had a fairly typical childhood, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age, and then attended UC Davis, where I joined a sorority full of other strong women. Sure, I'd spent my life around inspiring women, but what had I really achieved on my own? I needed my own adventures, my own challenge, and after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength, and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Lord, and I answered my calling.
An anime about a woman and an LGBTQ couple joining the military. Now, personally, I don't really give a shit about any of this, but Republicans definitely did. Because after this recruitment series came out to try and appeal to the newer generations, Republicans shit all over the Army.
So why does it matter if there's two moms, one mom only, one dad only, two heterosexual parents that have a child? I don't think it matters in a recruiting tool. I'm trying to understand how the taxpayer dollars are being used for this, because this thing's been hammered pretty hard.
My favorite comment from this whole thing was, the American Army is pretty effective on making me want to join the Russian Army. So basically, the US Army tried to appeal to a younger, more socially conscious generation, doesn't work, and in trying to do so, they alienate many of their most core supporters and has a video series that has a 97% dislike ratio. The US Army spent taxpayer dollars trying to beat the YouTube rewind for the most disliked video in the world.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
What else are they spending their amazing budget on? Well, the US Army and Navy both have esports teams now. And they both have high-end setups, green screens, and this fucking cyberpunk level gaming truck that people can come in and play video games on. The purpose is pretty simple. get kids to develop parasocial relationships with the streamers so that they want to become like them and want to become joining the military. It was pretty obvious to anyone who had eyes and half a brain. But being the US military, lying is a part of their identity. And for whatever reason, even though everybody knew that they were recruiting, they decided to say, we do not actively recruit on Twitch, but that if a viewer is over 17 years of age, then the recruiter will thank them for their interest and refer them to Navy.com where they can talk to a recruiter. According to Vice.com, a handbook streaming guide made by the Navy stated that everything done on social media should be aimed at making connections with prospects and recruiters. One of the scummiest things they did during this period was advertise a giveaway for a free Xbox Elite controller, but when you went to the giveaway link, instead of an actual giveaway, it directed you to the Army's recruitment page. And it's not like gamers are not aware of what the US Army is trying to do. They're very aware of the fact that they're being targeted. So Twitch viewers do exactly what they were born to do. They trolled the shit out of them. When the Army and Navy went live on Twitch, viewers of theirs would ask fun questions like, what's your favorite war crime? And I see you guys have upgraded from recruiting out of low-income schools. Nice. Oh, and of course, since the Army and Navy get a lot of older people to stream, they often don't know what kind of fun usernames people can have now.
Like that.
Yo, Hyper
But
Eagle.
they specifically
Hello, how you
named
doing?
it Parkour challenge. Whether or not it's actually cool, it might just be.
Yo, 6 million wasn't enough.
I don't know.
Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you.
Since their awful esports launch, the Army has retreated from Twitch because gamers are apparently harder to deal with than terrorists. According to Twitch Tracker, the US Army channel has streamed about once per year since June of 2021. And while America's Navy is still streaming regularly on Twitch, according to the tracker, their average viewership per stream was 2. Which would just be the guy streaming opening his stream and the superior officer watching his stream to make sure that he was actually streaming. Despite how badly everything is gone for the military, they're still expected to continue with this outreach throughout the gaming community. Like I said at the start, there's not a lot of people in America that are actually eligible for recruitment anymore. The military actually lowered their standards because in these last few years, fatter kids had to be able to join the military because they didn't have enough people to actually join. So whatever it is the military can do to try and get people into the Army, they will try. But here's the thing, instead of spending money on esports equipment, cyber trucks, and pathetic attempts to appeal to a generation that will never think that you're socially conscious through anime, why don't you spend a little bit of that money on raising the work conditions of the soldiers that you already have? Pay them 6 figures for going to war instead of Mickey D's workers' wage, and give them proper PTSD and post-combat care. Instead of allowing so many of your veterans to become homeless, give them proper mental health therapy after they come home. Instead of treating every single recruit as another expendable number on a spreadsheet, treat them like human beings, and I bet you those recruitment numbers will go up real fucking quick. My name's Donwop, thanks for watching.